have to give that statement not to. Well, I must hate to say, but I don't know too much.
Yeah. Okay, today's the 7th, isn't it? Today,
I
April.
don't know.
I think it's April 7th, 1983. And this is Joe Todd interview with Rowena.
Rowena. I was named for my aunt and my grandmother.
Okay, and your full name is Rowena?
Rowena.
Yeah. Next name is Rowena Grace Walworth Akers.
Yes. Isn't that a name for you?
Yeah. Mrs. Akers, where were you born?
When was I born?
Yeah, where and when?
I was born in 1981 at Granola, Kansas, somewhere.
1981?
Yeah.
So how about 1891?
No, I was born in 1891.
1891. Okay.
81.
1881.
I was born before 1981. I'm 91 now.
Okay.
Now can you get it?
Yeah. You were born.
I was born in 81.
Yeah.
But now we're in the 90s.
No, we're in. This is 1983.
This, yeah, 1983, but 1981, I guess it would be.
18. How about 1891?
No, it'd be 1991, 81.
1891.
Yeah, 91.
Yeah. What? When's your birthday? What day?
17th of November.
Who is your father?
Well, all I know about my father is very little.
What was his name?
Frank, let me see, F.D., Frank David Walworth.
And who was your mother?
My mother was Minnie Alice Wolf.
Were both your parents in Kansas?
As far as I know, I don't know. I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have to guess so.
How long did you live in Kansas?
How do I know? I don't know that.
Oh, when did you move to Oklahoma?
I don't know that, but it was in the early years of,
How old were you?
well, I was just a little kid. I was so little I couldn't tell you. Probably about 2 years old.
Do you know how come your mother moved to Oklahoma?
No. We knew very little about our parents.
How come?
Well, they just didn't talk and tell us after we got big enough to know.
What kind of work did your father do?
I don't know. As far as I know, he was a scrap grease.
A what?
One of those disappears and appears.
Hmm.
He disappears when times get hard and they don't show up until he finds out if you got any money. That's the kind of man he was. I heard my oldest sister, she was 79 when she died. And she broke both hips. And she called me on the telephone and said, I want you to come here to Arizona and take care of me. Well, I said, I am sorry, but I have to take care of myself because I'm not well. And I said I wouldn't take care of you in the first place. I wanted her to help take care of our mother. And she said she was having a good time. She had a new boyfriend. She wasn't going to come out here and help me. And I said, well, all right, you'll want help someday, and I won't give it.
What part of Oklahoma did your mother come to?
Huh?
What town in Oklahoma did your mother move to?
Oh, the first, I think she moved to, down here somewhere to some town. Now, I knew where it was, but I can't say it. But as far as I know, my mother moved her brood to, some town in Oklahoma, I forgot.
Pawnee?
No, we didn't move to Pawnee we was all pretty good size.
Perry.
No, Perry is where we first, when we finally left the place that our uncle had placed us. I can't say it right now. There's so many things escapes me. But anyway, it seemed like my uncle, my grandparents only had one son, and that was Harry Wolf. And Harry Wolf didn't have very good feeling towards his family. He was an oddball, one of those odd kind of guys. And I've got a son just like him. I wish I could say it's way off down here in the southern part of the state.
Ardmore?
No, that's not right. Oh, what makes me, I just can't say it now, and I had it on the tip of my tongue this morning.
Do you have any memories of Perry?
Very little. That Perry is where we, after we left this other town, way off down here in the south part of the state, we went to Perry. We met our grandfather at Perry.
What was his name?
Huh?
What was your grandfather's name?
David Wolf. He was a veteran of the Civil War, and he homesteaded at Pawnee, Oklahoma. You'd ask me more about my grandfather, I might know.
Yeah, what? Did he ever tell you any stories about the Civil War?
No, he would never talk about the Civil War, at least that I know of. Now, the ones that you could have several years ago interviewed would have been my oldest sister. My oldest sister knew the history of our families, both families. She knew her ABCs, and she was smart. Which I had to read the whole dictionary to be smart.
How old were you when you left Perry?
Lord, I don't know. I was just a little girl.
And then you moved to southern Oklahoma?
Well, you see, I was just a little fellow when we moved up. I was about 4 or 5 years old when we moved to Pawnee County.
Pawnee County.
But from this town, we moved, we went to Perry. We had to go to Perry. Some way, my uncle managed to get my mother and her brood to Perry. And that was horse and stable days. You know what I mean? They put you up in a sort of like a shelter, like a barn.
Was it kind of like a hotel or a motel or something?
Oh, no, not in those days. It was just a shack.
Was it in Pawnee?
It was in Perry.
Oh, in Perry. Okay.
But Pawnee County was where they always did their trading, mostly. Now, they didn't, Granddaddy never, very seldom ever went to Rowton, Oklahoma for anything. He always went to Pawnee.
How big was Pawnee the first time you went there?
Lord, I don't even know.
Ever meet Pawnee Bill?
I never did meet him. I saw him a lot of times.
What did he look like?
He's a beautiful man. Tall, slender. After I got older, I remembered him. Had snow white hair and a snow white beard. Lovely, beautiful man. Tall.
Mm-hmm.
And he lived up over the lower land. He lived up on a big cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you should go to Pawnee.
I'd like to.
All of that. Well, you know, they was going to tear down his castle, as we would say, and the townspeople made such a big roar. No, that's history.
Who were some of the prominent people in Pawnee besides Pawnee Bill?
Well, as far as I don't know too many of the people that lived there, and I couldn't remember their names. If I was just thinking about it, I could probably think of a few, but I just don't know.
Did you live on a farm in Pawnee County?
Well, my parents, my mother did, and the boys. See, they was 3 girls and 4 boys.
What kind of? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, the reason that it seemed like my grandparents kept a couple of the children most all the time. And mother kept myself and my little brother that died, and Arthur, and he died several years ago in 1954. And Russell died good many years ago in Arizona somewhere. His wife took him to Arizona. The tragedy started there.
What kind of chores did you do in the farm as a child?
Well, I didn't do any.
You
Maybe
didn't.
I carry in a little wood or something like that.
Who did all the chores?
The boys.
The boys? How about like laundry, that stuff? Who did that?
My mother and I guess my mother did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kids don't pay too much attention to that.
How long did you live in Pawnee County?
Oh, till I was just a little thing when we moved there. Well, I was about 8 years old. I remember going to school there, and I went barefoot.
What school did you go to?
One day, just a district school. We had to go through we had to go through 2 cowpastures, and I was deadly afraid of bulls. Oh, I was so afraid of cows with horns. I wasn't afraid of our cows, but I was afraid of other cows.
How far did you have to walk to school?
Oh, it was about a mile.
What was the name of the school?
Oh, no, you got me there again. It's just a one big room school.
Can you describe what the town of Pawnee looked like?
No. Pawnee, you had to cross a creek to get to Pawnee.
The streets paved?
It's a big swampy ravine, and you had to go over a bridge to get to Pawnee.
Were you east or west of Pawnee?
We were south.
South of Pawnee.
Grandfather's farm was on the main line from Pawnee to Ralston. And when we got to Ralston, we had to either ford the river or wait till the bridge was built.
How big was Ralston?
How
big was Ralston?
Well, at one time it wasn't only maybe a dozen houses, but as older he got, the more houses they had. I had a very dear friend that lived there, many years ago. And they come and had a little hitch down to Oklahoma City, but they didn't, he didn't seem to know his way around.
Yeah.
And he got disgusted and went back to Ralston, where he was raised, born and raised.
How long did you live in Pawnee County?
Well, I told you, I was about 3 or 4 years old, and we left there when I was about 8.
Where'd you move to?
We moved to the Osage. That's another windstorm my father thought about.
What part of the Osage?
Well, now I don't know. It's just part of the Osage that you cross the Ralston River to get over the Osage.
The
And-
Arkansas River?
Yes. And when you get over there, you had to, after the days of civilization, why, you got to know it a little bit better.
What was the nearest town in the
Here's
Osage?
town.
The Osage.
Well, in 1907, we became a town.
In the state.
We became a town in 1907.
Yeah, okay. What'd you do on that day in 1907? Were there big celebrations?
Well, I think everybody from miles around, because it was a railroad. That's when the Santa Fe Railroad in 1907.
Oh, okay. What was the name of the town?
Fairfax, Oklahoma.
Fairfax.
It wasn't anything until the railroad went through. There wasn't anything, just a spot in the road. But after the railroad went through, people became more civilized. And it became a beautiful town. Why don't you go there sometime?
I've been there.
Oh, yeah. Did you meet anybody of any dignity?
I just drove through.
Oh, what a shame.
What did Fairfax look like as a child? When it first became a town, what did it look like?
It was Tent City. You see, we'd lived on a big farm at Grayhorse, just this side of Grayhorse, and an Indian Village. That's some more of that smart stuff my father would always pull it. He'd get his family jerked away from where they should have been left from my grandfather.
How come he moved to Grayhorse?
Well, I told you, some more wild stuff that my father pulled.
What kind of wild stuff? What did he want to do?
Well, he just never wanted his family to be settled anywhere. He couldn't go when he wanted to. We never knew where he lived or what he did. We never knew.
What kind of work did you and your family do at Grayhorse?
My mother and the boys farmed. We had an Indian a house to live in, a 2-story house at one time. I'll tell you.
An Indian house. What's an Indian house?
Well, it's just a house. It's not a finished house. It's just a house, boxed in from the outside and vacant on the inside.
Did you finish the inside?
Well, you have to finish it up on the inside. You have to get some kind of heavy burlap or something to keep the cold out in the wintertime, idiot. You know, you're the dumbest man I ever saw. I honestly believe that you're just pulling my leg. Well, I'll tell you, if you've never been to Pawnee and you've never been to Grayhorse, you haven't been anywhere. And the cattle ranchers, oh, you should have seen the cattle ranchers.
Who owned them? Who were the cattle ranchers?
Well, did you ever hear of Billy Hale? Did you never read the story about Billy Hale?
Who was it? Tell me about it.
He was a big cowboy with a lot of foolish ideas. And we lived at one time, my husband got a big foolish idea too. He got drunk, he and another boy and man, and went out to Nigger Lucy's and rented this farm.
Went up to who?
Nigger Lucy's.
Who's she?
Who's she? Well, she's part black and part white.
What'd she do?
Well, he went out there with a nickel in his pocket and rented that Nigger Lucy's place. And then went back and told the bank what he done, and they said, all right, we're going to put you out there and let's see if you can do anything. And the first year he got sick and had to go to Judah Springs. He belonged to the Woodman Lodge, and they put him on took him in a stretcher and took him to Judah Springs up in Kansas, and let him take a year of mud baths till he got the rheumatism out of his system. You got it out too.
Yeah. You mentioned that your brothers broke Indian ponies.
Yeah, my brothers, my big brothers, broke Indian ponies for the Indian boys.
How much they pay you to do that?
I don't have any idea. They gave the boys the ponies to ride, and there's where my sister got crazy about the Indian skin. She got crazy about an Indian fever and never got it out.
Where'd the Indians get the ponies?
Huh?
Where'd the Indians get the ponies?
Well, now, I wouldn't know. I know there was big cattle ranches all around us. And one year, my father got wind of a bunch of 100 horses. So that he had some land fenced in and connected with that Indian stuff, see? And they kept those horses and fed them and took care of them to make extra money.
What's Indian fever? What's Indian fever?
What's Indian fever?
Yeah.
I don't know. I never had it.
Well, you said your sister got it.
Oh, yeah, she got crazy about the Indians. She never got it out. She married one.
Oh, that's Indian fever.
Yeah, she married one. Blacker than Ebenezer. Ebenezer was the blackest colored man I ever saw in my life. He had a
Who was
heart
he?
of gold.
Who was he?
He was a cleaner out here. He kept this part of this place just.
Oh, he worked
shut.
here at the home.
He worked here,
Yeah.
and he was very good. I told Mr. The yes man around here. I call him the yes man.
How long do you live in the Osage Country?
And the Osage, I lived there until I was about 20.
Did you go to school there?
Yes.
Where?
Well, they had to make. They made it the school. People that had money, and the people moved in there from different places because they thought that was going to be a town someday. But that was before they knew we was going to have a railroad. And the people from far and near that had any money moved into Grayhorse. They thought it was a good place, I guess, as far as I know.
How far from Fairfax is Grayhorse?
Oh, let's see, it's about 50 or 20 miles.
What kind of houses did the Indians live in the village?
Well, they're just big houses, they're planks on the outside and skeletons on the inside.
And that's what the village was made of? Those Indian houses?
Yeah, and they would have to have them, but some kind of paper.
Yeah. What about how'd they dress, the Indians?
Well, they dress in, they had sort of a pantsuit and moccasins. And now they dress like civilized people.
Mm-hmm.
But they all wear blankets most of them.
Did you ever get to know any of them?
No, I couldn't stand them.
How come?
I didn't like the looks of them. I never was crazy about the Indians, even though the white girls just went crazy about those Indians. I thought, oh, how can they?
You ever go to Pahuska?
I was there twice in my life. One of my sisters lived in Pahuska with a family and worked for them.
What kind of land did you have in the Osage?
Oh, what?
What kind of land did you have your farm? What kind of land was it?
All I know, it had dirt on it.
And was it hilly, rocky, lots of trees?
No, some of it was real nice, and some of it was smooth and nice, and grow most anything. But I don't know. Everybody's farms look like just about the same. They just farm so much, see. And the rest of it was fenced in for grazing for the cattle.
Tell me more about Billy Hale.
Billy Hale,
Yeah.
the famous guy.
Yeah, what was he like?
Well, he was a very nice man to appearance, but he had a desire to make a lot of money. And as time went on, he quit his wildlife, trying to make a horse climb a stairway, and settle down.
Make a horse climb a stairway. Where did you do that?
Smart man. He made his horses climb stairs
Where?
at the Indian Village.
How come he did that?
Well, now, you'd have to ask somebody besides me. I don't know. It's just one of his ideas.
Yeah. Who are some of the other big ranchers in the area?
Well, I didn't know him. Billy Hale and, they're all, I couldn't tell you. There's lots of them there, but I've got all their names.
Did you graduate from high school?
No,
No.
I graduated another dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated in a nursing school
You did? Where?
in Oklahoma City.
What school?
nurse's school.
Which one?
Well, I don't know. It was the waiver, the waiver school.
Waiver School?
Yeah, you ever hear of it?
Nope.
Well, they took so many and got a teacher from some big place, and she went in and taught all them nurses. And boy, we had some good ones. They're not done like these people out here.
Where was the Waiver School?
Waiver was made out of people that did duty in different farms, what they call waiver. We didn't have a school to go to, so they would make up so many people. And now if you'll go and take care of Mrs. Jones, you go take care of Mrs. do field duty, what they call it. That's the waiver. You didn't know a darn thing about nursing much, but you learned through the doctors they had.
When did you move to Oklahoma City?
I moved to Oklahoma City in 1914.
Do you have any memories of the Spanish-American War?
No. I don't know anything about it.
What about Statehood Day, 1907, when Oklahoma became a
I
state?
know we had some wars, and in the 1900s sometime. No, I don't know too much about war, but I know my grandfather was a Civil War veteran. And I know that Bentonville, Arkansas is an old fort. And there's lots of people there could tell you more than you could shake a stick at. Sister, my daughter, Geneva Neal, has a book that my sister wrote. And she sold those books
What's the name of the book?
of different things in the war days and the people that was interested in those wars and knew the word and all about them.
What was your sister's name?
Her name was Ethel. Let's see, she answered any day. Her name was Walworth, and then she married a man by the name of, what was his name? You see, my name up there is escaping me today, I can't say it. And then she married later, years later, she captured a man.
What was his name?
Oh, Lord. I'll have to write those all down.
Do you remember World War One?
Who?
World War One, First World War,
No,
1917, 1918.
I didn't know anybody. All I know is the people that was in the Civil War, and I know that this World War we had, one of my son-in-laws was a flyer, and he is a military man. He could tell you more about things like that than I could.
Can you tell me more about the Osage and the Indians and what you did?
or the Osage Indians lived on their, the government gave them. I don't know all the things that the Indians did or where they made all their money. I don't know. I just really don't know.
How big was Grayhorse?
Huh?
How big was Grayhorse?
How big?
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't very big. It's probably about 10 acres, 5 acres.
Who
something
was
like that.
Grayhorse?
Grayhorse was a name for an Indian.
Who was he? Did you know him?
No. Old Snake had died. I don't know him either. He died. I know an Indian boy, his name was Woman, and he was a nice Indian boy. My boys broke his ponies for him, so he wouldn't get hurt.
What was his name?
Woman. And when he died, he was buried on a hill that overlooked the place where we lived.
What kind of man was he?
Just a kind, nice fellow. That's all I know.
Was he an Osage Indian?
Yes. There were several villages. There was one at, let me see, and the Indian dances was very famous, and they're still famous. And they had a great big place down by the river where they had their dances. I'll tell you, you just known some of them people. I didn't get acquainted with them because I wasn't a Indian lover. The Tall Chief boys were very prominent in the world. Henry Tall Chief and Little Ellick and Big Ellick, and Henry Tall Chief. They were wealthy Indians, and they were, had lots of land and lots of ponies. And
Where'd they live?
at Fairfax.
Did your brothers break horses for him?
I don't know whether they did or not.
Did you know Fred Lookout?
No.
You know who he was?
I knew a lot of their names, but I didn't know.
What kind of games do you play as a child?
Games,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. What kind of games?
Yeah, as a child.
Well, they played croquet in that time as a game, one game, outdoor game. And they played, some of them played cards, I guess. I never did play cards. I don't like to play cards. I don't like to sit still. I don't like to concentrate. I won't go. I don't even take part in the things around here. And the fact, I despise this place. I've been robbed, and I've lost my clothes, and I've had my clothes stolen, I've had my shoes stolen, I've had everything stolen. And they don't allow any locks on your doors.
Where did you enjoy living the most?
In Oklahoma City.
In Oklahoma City. Where did you live in Oklahoma City?
Well, I lived in so many places, but the last place I lived was a big apartment house on 17th Street. And there was just 4 tenants in that place, and everybody was congenial. I lived there 21 years. And if I can find me an apartment there. If not, I'm gonna tell the landlord I want him to dump those people out of the apartment I used to live in.
Can you tell me some more about this lady named Lucy?
Lucy,
Yeah.
Lucy who?
I don't know, you said your father rented a farm from
No, my husband.
your husband.
Nigger Lucy?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, she was just part black and part white.
What was she like?
I never saw her.
You never saw her. Were there many bootleggers and moonshiners around Fairfax?
Oh yeah, they was, but I don't know any of them.
Mm-hmm.
I never liked to mix with people that I didn't
Yeah.
with mine.
Mm-hmm. How come you moved to Oklahoma City?
Well, we was living in, we left Fairfax. My husband was too famous there with the women and the whiskey. And we went to Arkansas, Kansas, because his oldest brother had been a engineer, and he wanted to be some part of, he wanted to get in the railroad work. But I'd start at 25 cents an hour. But he finally did end up over the years making a fair living as a railroad man till he got wacky over a woman, and that's why I divorced him.
He was a railroad man.
Yeah.
What did he do for the railroad?
Well, he was a switchman for a long time, and he didn't like that. He wanted to work in the yards, switching cars here and there, all over. Oh, so many, you go down the railroad track and look like a Japanese puzzle.
What does a switchman do?
Well, he switches cars. They set cars here and cars there. They have a whole big group of people, oh Lord. You gotta get into that.
No.
My husband thought he would like to walk the top of a boxcar, but after he tried it, he died. The whiskey and everything didn't match.
What was your husband's name?
His name was Bill Akers. He was born in Franklin County, Virginia. His mother was a wonderful woman and sweet and good. And where after he had so many bouts in different things, but I was going to tell you about Billy Hill.
Yeah.
We lived out there on Nigger Lucy's places for that 1 year. And Billy Hill, I never knew the man, but my husband knew him. Every time he butchered, all the neighbors got some of that beef. Always seemed that his neighbors had some of that beef every time. And if we hadn't had help like that, we couldn't have lived.
Yeah.
And then, as time went on, Billy got ideas in his head. And when Fairfax was a booming town at that time, he decided he would see if he couldn't pull something. So he insured a lot of people, mostly part Indian people, for a lot of money. And when their houses blowed up or they got killed, he was the beneficiary. He went to the pen for that.
He did.
Oh yes. He wasn't so famous after that. I don't know what happened to him after that. But there was lots of lovely homes in Fairfax, and I had a little girlfriend that really captured an old man there, and she captured everything else.
She did.
Yeah, she captured the. I never did think she would amount to anything, but her father was not so smart. I don't know who did all that planning for her, but she married an old man that had millions, and first she married just a poor boy. Then she decided next time she got married, she's gonna feather her nest, and I guess she did. She married the old man and his millions. And then he died, and she inherited the hospital. And she got the hospital, and I don't know what else she got. I've often wondered about it, but I never did have anybody to inform me because I'd lost contact with so many people there.
Can you tell me what your favorite childhood memory is?
Well, I didn't have too many childhood memories. Mine was always hard work and harder. No, I
What
didn't
kind of work did you do as a child?
wait tables at a small boarding home
Where?
at Fairfax.
Who owned the boarding home?
Huh?
Who owned the boarding home?
Well, there was Bill Farmer. He owned one, and his wife, and they thought they almost owned me. They even took me to the 101 ranch with them one time.
What was that like?
Oh, that was great. At Ponca City.
Yeah.
You ought to been. Where was you all at?
I wasn't even born.
Well, that's too bad.
What was the can you describe the 101 ranch?
What?
Can you describe the 101 ranch, what it looked like?
What?
Can you describe the 101 ranch?
No, it's just huge miles and miles of land. Smooth.
Did you meet the Miller brothers?
Yeah, no. I know all about them. I've read about them. But I don't know anything about them. Other than they own lots of land through the Indians. I can tell you better than that.
What's that?
My grandson is a very wealthy boy, and he's making his off his work. He has a great big skyscraper building
Where at?
at Tulsa.
What's his name?
His name is George Edward Day. You should go see him sometime when you're in Tulsa.
What does he do?
He's an architect. The best there is. His family seen, his mother and father seen that their 3 children got the best education. And they got a girl that is a big coordinator at the Dallas hotel, the biggest hotel in Dallas. She's a beautiful girl. She's still single. And Philip Day, he's got his little stake down at in Mexico. maybe, I don't know. I don't hear too much about Philip.
Um,
Philip's a beautiful man, though. He's a sweet fellow.
How long do you wait tables in the boarding house?
Oh, probably for a year or so.
What'd you do after that?
I don't know. I didn't do very much of anything. I worked here and there, first one place and another.
Can you tell me what? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Until I was 16, and then I got man crazy, like most girls do. And I married that guy I divorced. The man that he had, it was 6 boys and 6 girls. And his mother loved me, and I loved her. And she, of course, she couldn't control all of her kids. And there's just, let me see, there's 2 girls left and 1 boy of that family.
Well, what else you want to tell me?
And I never did see his father, and we visited in Roanoke, Virginia twice, and I never did see his father.
Yeah.
I guess he's off road somewhere.
Yeah. How many kids do you have?
How many children did I have? I had 5. I had 3 girls, 2 boys. My youngest boy is a chiropractor, and he works for that big preacher there,
Oral Roberts.
Oral Roberts, and his wife works for Oral Roberts. She's a painter. Oh, he makes pictures for Oral Roberts. Did all his picture work for his big church. And did you ever see that skyscraper he built?
Yeah.
Have you been through it?
No.
Well, I've been around it, but I haven't seen inside. But they say it's great. Well, my daughter-in-law and my son never see his wife.
When's the last time he came here to see you?
They didn't come here to see me. They haven't been here to see me since I've been here.
When's the last time you saw him?
1968. They had a dinner party.
That's 15 years.
And I was there at the dinner party, and I haven't been there since. I don't know. They just live for themselves.
Can you tell me more about Fairfax?
Well, I don't know much about it myself.
You say you was at Tent City?
It's what?
You say you was at Tent City?
At one time, the first time, when the railroad went by, was built. When the Santa Fe Railroad went through there. That was way back in the, didn't make 100 back. It was before a statehood.
Do you remember Statehood Day?
1970.
Do you remember that day?
Very little about it. I just remember that there was a big celebration. That's all I know.
Did you go to the celebration?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I lived in a block of it. But I know that was the day it became a state. They didn't have a band or anything like that.
What did the people do to celebrate?
I don't remember. Got drunk, I expect. And drank Indian whiskey.
What's Indian whiskey?
Well, I don't know. I never did drink any.
Yeah.
But there was lots of bootleggers. I used to know some people that would drive from Fairfax to come. Used to live in Britain, Little Britain, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oh, they're tearing out that up, and it don't even look like Britain anymore. I couldn't even find a friend I was looking for. My son says, my son-in-law said, Mother, we've passed 24 dozen times, but it's just a puddle of water. Well, I said, what did they do to the house? He said, well, they must have moved it.
Well,
There
I
was
think,
a wealthy woman owned it.
yeah, I think we have a good interview.
Well, I don't know that we had such a good interview, but
Well, we have a lot of good information.
but I couldn't give you the,
Can you tell me more about your childhood?
no. Other than I lived with my mother.
What was your mother like?
Oh, she's just a beautiful, sweet woman that wouldn't take no for an answer.
Okay, thank you.